Hello, welcome to Developing Dogs. I'm Sian Ryan and I'm the owner and head trainer here. This video deals with the concept of what does being a dog mean, so you can get to grips with the furry animal that you share your home and you can understand them a little bit better. So we're talking about meeting their needs. We're talking about their physical needs, their psychological needs and their emotional needs. We know ever more, increasing amounts more about dogs than we did even 10 years ago. We know that they feel certain things, we know that they can express emotions, we know that they have physiological and psychological needs. So the first thing that we have to understand about them is how to tell when they're not comfortable. If you want to maintain your dog's welfare, then being alert to signs that they are not happy in a situation is probably one of your number one concerns. And once we understand that they're not comfortable with the situation, we need to know how to deal with it, how to understand it, how to respect it. So, signs that your dog may be uncomfortable in a situation or with what is happening to them. You might see them slow down, they may start to try and move away from something, they may curve away from something, they might start sniffing the ground, licking their nose, dropping their head, tucking their tail, yawning, stiffening up. These are all signs that they are unsure about what's happening. So if you're asking your dog to do something and you think that they're just being distracted and they're sniffing the ground and they're ignoring you and they're being stubborn or difficult, stop and think, actually, are they comfortable with what you're asking them? Do they understand what you're asking them? And if not, what can you do to make that situation better for them? So we're going to help you if you come for our life skills classes, we'll help you spot those signs and we'll help you in different situations and different scenarios come up with what you need to do to make it better for them. First rule is generally stop what you're doing, back away, move away, either from the dog or enable them to move away from the situation, reassess and reevaluate. Do you have to go and do that? Do you need to go and do that? And if so, how can you do it in a way that is going to make your dog comfortable with the situation? Simply forcing your dog to continue down a path where they are uncomfortable is likely to lead to bigger problems in the future. So if you do have a puppy who is scared to go for walks or a dog who hates traffic passing, please get in touch, because that's something that we can talk you through and we can help you with as a matter of urgency, so you don't end up with a long-term problem. So other elements of being a dog. Well, generally dogs enjoy being sociable. They are social animals. This includes with people and other dogs, but not all dogs enjoy the same level of interaction. Not all dogs have the same needs to interact. So we need to make sure that our dogs are polite, that they can approach other people and other dogs calmly without rushing over to them and jumping on their heads. And we also need to be able to protect our dogs from other dogs or people if necessary. So if you have a shy dog who doesn't want to greet every person that they meet, then just simply ask people not to touch them. I'm a big fan of telling people that they've just had a flea treatment or that they've been treated for mange. If I have a dog who doesn't want to be stroked, who doesn't want to be approached by people, it means that you don't offend the person who wants to make a fuss of your dog, but it also protects your dog from what is essentially an unpleasant experience. So the other things to really understand about a dog is that they do what works to get what they want. So they aren't being malicious, they aren't being dominant. There's a whole other video about that we'll talk about. They are simply doing what works. So the puppy who is constantly jumping up at you, as far as they're concerned, they are getting something out of that, whether it's a release of energy, whether it's because you look down at them and you tell them no, which that doesn't mean anything to them and they've just got your attention, which is why they were doing it in the first place, or if you eventually give up ignoring them and give them a chew or something, they've got what they wanted. So what we try and get across within life skills is, when you know they're going to be jumping up, bend down to them. Don't give them a chance to jump up. Drop treats or food on the floor so that they are engaged with what's going down on the floor and you can greet them calmly in that way. So dogs do what works, and the whole of our class will try and get that across to you. Dog rules differ from human rules. I don't know about you, but I can't think of anyone who I approach and sniff their bottom as a way of greeting. However, my dogs do that regularly. That's a very polite way of greeting another dog. The nose-to-nose, face-to-face greeting is actually one of the harder greetings for dogs to cope with. Curving round, going and sniffing the bottom first is much more polite. So their rules are different from ours. They need our help to understand human society and human rules, and we need to understand when they make mistakes. They didn't chew your favourite shoes because they were trying to get back at you for leaving them alone. They didn't poo because they were trying to get back at you for leaving alone. They chewed your shoes because they smelt of you, or because you paid attention to them before you left, which is a really great way of telling a dog, these are fantastic, you know, play with them, I love them. But, you know, they may not do with them what you want them to do. And sort of toileting when they're left alone is a sign of insecurity, more often than not, or simply a dog who isn't yet house trained, or who has a stomach upset. So we need to understand their mistakes. And through that, we develop our relationship. They learn to trust us, they learn that we're the source of good things, and you build a fantastic relationship with your dog. So that's just a brief intro to what being a dog means. Check out our other videos for some further conversations and further advice on different situations. We've got one on guilt, we've got one on dominance, and various other aspects. Hope to see you at Developing Dogs soon.